You're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast on Digital Stream Radio.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast, a weekly show that chronicles the adventures of motherhood. I'm Candace. Now let's start the show.
Hey, sultry.
I know.
Like, what would I say? She's a sultry mistress today.
I know. I'm doing my Eartha Kitt. Right?
Welcome everyone to the Breezy Moms
Welcome, hey guys.
podcast and a gay boy.
I know. I love it. It works pretty well. So I'm super excited to be here, and you might notice a little, it's weird because you get used to the sound of your voice and you actually don't, I feel like I don't really know what my voice sounds like, but this is a time where when I hear the playback, I will definitely see,
the difference.
There's a difference. I was like, we should record something, a little bluesy.
Santa baby. No, let me not even think about.
Listen, I just saw a thing that said it's 353 sleeps until Christmas 2019.
I'm still mad that people have their lights up and they still have about 360 days left.
I know, it's a little excessive. Your neighbors still have like inflatables.
Yeah, I can't.
I've been done since 2 days after Christmas.
I just want to go out there with a knife and start stabbing inflatables.
It's crazy. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I'm super excited to be here. I feel like every week I tell you that a lot of times I'm on the couch until the moment it's time to leave. And I was like, really, I probably should just stay home and curl up under a blanket. But I really enjoy coming out for the show. And I also thought about doing it remotely from my own basement. And I really just realized how much I enjoy spending this time with you guys listening, and that I didn't want to miss it. So I will go as probably not as long as I would like to, but as long as my voice will keep up with me tonight, and I hope that you will stick through it with me.
Stick through it with her. She's fun. You know, she's always a good hoot and a good time. And I just wanted to quickly mention that I am not going to go out stabbing inflatables. So if something happens to my neighbor's inflatables, I'll be like me. Shaggy. It wasn't me. Like seriously. So how have you been, Miss Candace?
I've been mostly okay. I feel like I'm in good spirits, even though I sound worse than I really feel. I mean, I feel pretty bad, but again, you just have to like make it through.
That's right.
I actually closed. I took the step and closed for the day. Today, Thursday, so I was open Monday through Wednesday, and excuse me. And realize that even though your heart is in it to do the work, as the days went by, it was getting harder and harder to get through the day, when usually it's not really that tough. And so that's when I realized that I needed, like on Thursday, because you sort of think you can just, it's only 2 more days, you just like power through. And I just needed a minute to catch my breath. So I took the day off, but I still have my own toddler, so I don't actually get the day off.
Yeah.
But it definitely is a difference to have 1 kid versus 6. So.
Well, where's the other one?
Well, Lincoln goes to school.
Oh, that's right. So he started going to school now.
Yeah. So he went to school last year. So he's been in school, and he's in school all day, but I still have my own 2-year-old. So we did a lot of, I think he was watching Super Wings today. And then, the thing I'll talk about a little bit later that I wish that I hadn't done was, I wish that I had used it as a sick day and not done 2 loads of laundry and gone grocery shopping. And you know what I mean? Like I should have just laid on the couch. And every time you say you're going to, your mind thinks about all the stuff.
But realistically, you're a mother.
I know.
You really don't have a sick day.
I know.
You know?
Have you seen that picture on the Breezy Moms podcast page?
Girl, I'm always trolling that thing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so that was from this weekend when I first started to feel sick. And I was like, I'm just going to lay in bed for a little while. And the kids just jumped all over me, and Emery had his hand all over my face, and he was like, "Mommy, wake up." It's like, I just need a minute.
Where's Daddy? Why don't you go bother Daddy?
I know, go find him. So, it's been an interesting week trying to manage wanting to push through and not being able to. So
Well, I'm glad that you made it into the studio.
Yes,
I think
me
that it'll
too.
be a good episode. We've got some great stuff that we're going to be talking about
Yeah, I'm
today.
super excited. And if you could see me, which we won't go Facebook Live tonight, I feel like a little old lady with my scarf wrapped all the way around my neck and my, my like shaggy sweater. You just have to get into you sort of have to lean into the sick in order to take the time to recover. So that's what I'm doing with you guys tonight.
So, typically on a normal Thursday when Candace comes in here, she would probably be like, I'm freezing.
Right.
Can you turn on the heat? So I knew that today she was going to be walking in and she was going to be feeling a little out of, the norm. And obviously if she's sick, I don't want to sit here and freeze her out. So I have my heat.
I know. I feel it. It's
on
pumping.
75.
Shut
something
up.
that I have never done in my life before, so that she could be nice and comfortable.
That's love. That's Puerto Rican love is what that is.
It's butter pecan Puerto Rican love. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna warm up this studio for her so that she feels good.
I know your fingertips. Usually the computer's all freezing. My fingertips are all cold, but it feels good. It feels good. So let's just jump right in because I don't know how long my voice is gonna last.
All right. So I will ask you, Miss Candace.
I'm listening.
How are your boys?
My boys are good. So I spent the day today with Emery by himself, which I don't normally get to do, right? It's me, him, and 5 other kids most times. And so we had I think we had a good day. There wasn't a ton that we did, again, because I'm feeling under the weather, but he does a lot of, like, he's really into Power Rangers. He's like 2.5, but he's really into Power Rangers. And today he insisted on wearing the Red Ranger mask when we went out to the supermarket. And thankfully today is also cleaning day when Susanna comes over. So we're getting ready to leave and she goes, are you going to let him leave with the mask on? I said, hell yes, I'm going to let him leave with the mask on.
You tried taking
We're
that
not
shit
fighting.
off.
I'm all about like even keel, like easy peasy today. Definitely Breezy. I'm not fighting him to take off that mask. So he's in the car seat and I forgot that he had on the mask and I looked up in the rearview mirror.
Oh God.
Oh my God, he's just chilling in his mask. Like it's a Power Ranger. It's like a little bite-sized Power Ranger in your back seat. So that was amazing. And then when we were coming home, he fell asleep in the mask and I posted the picture. And then after I posted it, I thought I should probably do a little like FYI. I did take the mask off when I realized he was sleeping. I felt like I was going to get a bunch of, you're not supposed to keep the mask on. They can't breathe, like blah, 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 blah. A lot of like, judgy parenting stuff, but thankfully I didn't get a ton of that. And so it was fine. So
well, that's good. But you also posted a picture of him sitting on a seat and he had the mask on. And then on the floor, there was like 2 spots. And I thought that for a moment there, he threw up.
Oh, no.
Because that's what it looked like.
No, that was I needed to get the emissions test done for my car.
Gotcha.
So I was trying to do a bunch of things. Remember I told you
I told you I'd troll your page.
I know. So good, because it reminds me, a few weeks ago, I got Lincoln to cull through the toys so that we could make room for the new stuff from Christmas and we could pass on the things that, are still in good use, but you guys aren't using it anymore to other kids who need it. So we had a big conversation about it. He did a great job. So we went and dropped off those things. We have locally in New Haven a place called Life Haven, which is a shelter for moms and pregnant moms and children. And I thought it would be a great place to give to have toys because they have a toy room.
That's awesome.
There. And then this like a ring bell for Mind. I asked her what kinds of things they needed because it's a shelter for moms with kids. And she said that often they need new pillows. So if you're ever out, like one listening is ever out and you're you're feeling generous and you could put together a little kit for your local mother and children shelter, they are always in need of pillows and blankets and sheets, especially at this time of year. Like there are not enough blankets to go around, not enough pillows to go around. And so anything sort of linen-y, towels, like those kinds of things that I think we take advantage of. I'm sure you have 15 like towels that you don't use anymore. Like I always have too many towels. You know what I mean? Like it's
with 2 dogs, you don't.
Oh, that's true.
No.
That's a good point.
No.
That's a good point. But just, I'm thinking about things that we take for granted. Towels, like people who don't have a ton of stuff could probably use some extra, especially fresh, clean towels. So,
No, but like even like if, for example, if you go to the supermarket or you
yeah.
go to Walmart, and you find yourself passing by the pillow section,
Yeah. Just any kind of linen, I think is what she was trying to
10.99,
say.
and throw it in your cart.
Yep.
That's $10 spent, and then whenever you have a moment, just drop it off.
Yep. Yeah. So
That's
it's
awesome.
that's just a little thing that I heard today that I didn't think of. Sorry.
Now, this is called Life Haven.
It's called Life Haven. Lifehaven.org, I think, is their website, and they're a local shelter in New Haven, but there might be in your area something. And I'm thinking specifically about moms and children as opposed to your general, because I'm also on the board of Youth Continuum, which is for homeless youth.
Mm-hmm.
So they're different. Most people need the same things because that group also probably needs some linens, but in certain communities need different things. So
and I will tell you that when you are able to spend some time in a safe space, it really makes a difference.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, my mother was a battered wife, right? My biological father beat my mom senseless for many years, and on numerous occasions we ran away, and the only place we could go to was a shelter, and for women and children. And I remember that we were there one time for, I believe it was like almost 2 months. And so they had schedules, and you had to contribute, you had to do chores, and you had to cook. It's like all of a sudden that Puerto Rican in that kitchen was cooking almost every day. One, that's what my mother loves to do.
Yeah.
You give her a kitchen and some food and she's there. And because people were just like, oh my God, your food is amazing.
Right, that's
you
great.
need to keep making this stuff. And, but I will tell you that having that safe space made a world of difference for me and my younger sibling. Because, when you're in that situation, you really don't know, you really don't care what you're missing, but you do appreciate rather the safe space that you have. And, so, it's something that I went through and that I still think of, from time to time. So yeah, if you can help in any way, shape, or form, that's awesome.
Absolutely do. So that was just something that was on my list of things to do for the last, I don't know how many couple of weeks. So I was trying to get it done. Again, it's a sick day and I should be on the couch, but instead my mind is thinking of all the things I need to take off. And then I needed to get the emissions test done for my car. And I remember the last time I did the emissions test, I had the kids, probably both kids, and they make you get out of the car while they do it. And it's called an emissions test, but I really think it's mostly computer stuff that they're looking at because I'm standing right there. I don't see any excitement really going on. But anyway, whatever that is, they make you get out of the car. And this last time they let the boys stay in the car, but it was a different guy. And this time the guy was like, I'm sorry. So I said to him, the baby is asleep. Can I get out and you do your thing? And he was like, no, DMV makes me. So he said it was the rules and you had to get out. And I immediately went to get to unclip his car seat and just try to figure out how to get him out, hoping that he would stay asleep. And then I thought about trying to get him back in. Even if he had stayed asleep, would he then stay asleep for another transfer back into the chair? And I was like, fuck that. And I just leaned over and unhooked. Thankfully, the car seat that he's using is a forward-facing, sort of a almost like a booster, like a big kid seat.
So it snaps into the actual plate?
No. That's for an infant. That would have been super easy. No, this is for a toddler. So there are only a couple little places, and the seat itself has a small profile. So I was able to unhook him very quickly and then pick up him and the car seat together and walk into the hallway where I was supposed to go. And then when I put it on the chair, he was a little too upright, so his head fell forward, and I was like, oh shit, he's gonna wake up. So I had to lean him back in the chair and stand there holding up the front of the thing with my knee. But all of that was better than, potentially ruining, because he had just fallen asleep 5 minutes ago, and I was not trying.
So precious.
They are so precious. And one, because it's quiet time for me, but two, because like me, if he wakes up in the middle of the nap and hasn't had his like proper nap, he is a wreck.
Crabby. But I think the reason why they ask for you to obviously get out of the vehicles because, they're going to put your car on these four cylinders, two tires in the front, two in the back, and they start literally accelerating the car as if it were driving. And what that causes is it causes your vehicle to think that it's actually doing what it's on the road, and it's emitting stuff out of its muffler. And they normally put something over the muffler part, and those fumes is what they're actually pulling into that computerized system to determine whether or not it meets the EPA standards that are set for the state.
Okay. All right, fine. I guess I don't want to be in the car for that. But
no, because, you get all that CO2 that could go into the cabin.
All right, fine.
You did good, girl. Right. You did good.
Yes, and good for that guy for sticking to the rules.
That's right.
And good for me for coming up with a workaround. So I was really just like, I can't. I almost pulled off, and then I was like, I can't get back here. So we're going to make it work. So
good.
Anyway, that was that. And then Lincoln is doing fine. We're struggling a little bit. I find myself struggling a little bit with him because now he's almost 5. So he talks, right? He talks, he has his own ideas. He thinks he knows a whole bunch of stuff. And I remember don't be rude to your mom. Don't be rude. Don't sass me. I remember all those things, and I feel that way as a parent, even though I don't know how to teach that stuff, right? I don't know how to teach a kid not to sass without plucking them in the lip, because that's what I got, right? Or you get your ear flipped. Don't talk to me like that. And I realized that it is so much easier to just flick his ear, right? Even though it's a bad thing, than to say, hey, I don't like when you use that tone of voice with me. It's rude. I'm your mom, blah, 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 blah. All of that is 30 seconds. I don't have to.
Well, they get it. Once you, she didn't like that.
I know, but he doesn't seem to be getting it. He's been doing a lot of this, which I hear is a 6-year-old first grade kind of thing where they're saying the worst possible thing. It's still benign because he's only 4, but he's like, I'll put it in your dookie booty head. I'll put that, I'm going to flick this food off the table. It'll go into your eyeball down to your foot and your butt. It's just whatever kind of random thing that involves poop, right, is the worst thing for 4 and 5-year-olds. And I'm just hey, you don't have to say that to me. I'm just trying to help you.
Where's he getting it from?
This is how kids are talking these days.
Get it in your booty poopy.
Yeah, it's akin to trick or treat, smell my feet, give me, I will pull down your underwear. It's akin to that kind of thing. And one of the kids in my program is 6, so he's already learned a bunch of these little stupid rhymes. And then I have to wait him out for Lincoln to forget them, or try really hard to say other things to make him forget. But he's picking up those things super easily. Meanwhile, ask him what day it is, and he's I don't know, Monday, Sunday, Wednesday. Listen, you're learning the wrong stuff here.
Well, I mean, but you know that it's natural for kids to pick up all the bad things.
I know. So that's what I am struggling with him, that it's natural for him to pick up all of those things, and that I just have to temper, I have to remember my Breezy intentions, because I don't want anybody to think out here that I'm always breezy all the time and I just laissez-faire, whatever is going on, right? Sometimes I lose my shit and I see the darkness come over my eye, and I'm just wait, he's 4. It's just I don't want to beat my kids, right? I have to remind myself of those things in a split second.
I just think that as humans, we're conditioned to sort of kind of test the waters, no matter what. Because that's how we learn lessons, right?
It's true.
That's how we learn boundaries. And I think that children just instinctively do this.
Yeah, because he didn't care about the flick, the little flick. He didn't care about it because I would just mime it to him, because that's what my grandmother used to do to me. You want one of these? I'm going to flick your...
My mother used to say she was going to give us a cocotazo.
A knuckle?
Yeah, she would take the knuckle and she would...
Oh my God.
Pop you upside the head. Them suckers hurt.
No, so we would get a little flick on your lip or in your ear or whatever, depending on what it is that you did. And my grandmother used to just threaten you with the flick, but you knew what it was. And I realized he didn't know because I had never done it. So I was listen, if you're not going to be I just lost my train of thought. If you're not gonna be worried about the threat, then I'm gonna have to let you know what it means. Right? Just like, because this is what he was doing last week. He was doing a lot of this. Like, I would say to him, "Hey, please don't, please stop, playing with the plate and stuff on the table because you're going to push it off and there's going to be a whole lot of food on the floor and it's going to be a problem." And like, while I'm saying that, he's pushing the plate. So by the time I finish saying, if it falls, it's going to blah, 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 he's already pushed it onto the floor. And so I was like, you were looking me in my eye while you were pushing the plate off the edge. Like, you know, I know, you know what the hell is going on. So come over here and let me flick you in your nose.
See, my mother would have sat us on that floor, made us pick it all up, and took everything away.
Yeah.
Until they learned your lesson. And I think, because there is this huge controversy about spanking your children.
I know,
right?
and I'm trying not to do it.
It's a very hot topic among mothers, among communities, about how we rear our children. But, you got to understand that back in those days, those issues slowly grew into what it is today.
Right.
But that's also the reason why kids today talk back to their parents the way they do.
All kinds of crazy.
Listen, if I were to ever open my mouth to my mother the way I see some of these kids go at their parents
8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, yeah.
I would not be living today. You would not see this gay boy sitting on this wonderful, beautiful desk today. I would have no teeth. I would have no hands. And because my mother used to say to us, listen, 3 boys, 1 woman. I am not playing. I am not playing. My mother kept a stick behind her washing machine. And I swear to God, whenever I knew I did something wrong, I would go and find that stick and I would hide it. Because I had a habit of doing things and then I would run and hide under the bed.
Yeah.
And she couldn't get under the bed. So she would take the stick and
go, Lord.
I'm going to get you one way or another.
I know.
But, she had to raise 3 tough boys. And let me tell you, my oldest brother, he wasn't easy.
Yeah.
He was not.
There's always one. But it's usually most of them. Yeah, actually, you probably weren't easy either, but you think you were.
No, actually, my mother, because I think my mother knew at a very young age I was her gay boy, she always protected me. So she really didn't let me do much. Like, my little brother had a bike and my older brother had a bike, but I couldn't ride a bike. I'm like, Ma, why can't I use his bike? No, because you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I look that frail to you? Like, do I look that, like, quainty? And I was like, whatever. I'll just sit here and watch my DuckTales, with that cable box with the long ass string, with the 3 rows of buttons. And
I remember the Cablevision. You grew up in New York, right?
Yeah,
Cablevision all the way.
I was in Yonkers.
Oh my God. So yeah, they test you, and I think as much as they are learning the boundaries, you are also learning your boundaries. And I'm trying to figure out what my boundaries are, and I don't know until he pushes, right? So every day he's a little bit older, I'm a little bit older, like we've been in it a little bit longer together, and I try to remember that we are both learning how to be in this relationship with each other.
But I think it's also important to address it when you see it, right?
Oh yeah.
Because what happens if he does something, or if your child does something and it shocks you to the point where you don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah.
And you're sort of kind of like walk away just thinking, okay, how am I going to handle this if he does this again? No.
Right.
Handle that shit right now, because he'll know at that point what I just did could never happen again. Because if you walk away with that sense of, oh my God, he's never done this before. How am I going to deal with this? He won.
Right. Yeah. So what's nice with me and Lincoln, and again, he's only 4, is he has shown me that he remembers things for a long time, and he will not respond in the moment, and then he'll come back later and say, hey, remember earlier when you said that thing to me, it was not nice because before that you said I could. You know what I mean? But he won't do it in the moment. And so with him, I realize that I have a little bit of time. And can come back to him and say, hey, when we were talking earlier, and this is what I have done with him before, is, hey, earlier when this thing happened, when you did this and I did this, I got really upset too fast, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get that upset that fast, but this is why you upset me. This is why it's not okay for you to do that. And so we are able, again, he's only 4, so who knows what this will look like later. But I'm also trying to figure out with the new things that are going on. Like I just saw a thing that said that often we in our age group, you've grown up hearing that you must not say, you like, don't back talk, right? You don't just say no. Somebody tells you to do something, you're not allowed to say no, right? And if you do say no, then you're being rude, you're being disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. And even if that is in a situation that obviously an adult knows this is right and this is wrong, what it teaches kids, it like quiets their understanding and their voice around being able to advocate for themselves and say no in a situation that might be different from the one that you think you're teaching them about, right? So then they're in an uncomfortable situation later and they don't have the voice to say no because they've always heard all along that you respond yes to authority, whatever that authority is. So that's not exactly what's going on here, but it makes me think that there are some things that maybe I learned as a kid and I thought that I wanted to do as an adult, right? And I do say it. I say it so often that I have to bite my tongue. I say, don't tell me no. You don't tell me no, right? For any little thing that pick up your toys. No, you don't tell me no. And again, in that circumstance, obviously, no, you don't tell me no, you're not picking up toys. But am I doing them a disservice by not having a better response or a better like communication about why this is not the right.
So what would be the
circumstance?
better way of addressing that situation when he
I don't know yet. I haven't gotten there yet. Because what I do now is I just take away the toys. So right now, if I say it's time to clean up and people are moving around really slowly, the idea is anything that Candace picks up goes in the basement and then we don't play with for a while. So either you have enough energy to play with all these toys and clean them up, or you don't have enough energy to play with all these toys.
And then you won't have toys to
right?
play with.
Because the play includes the cleanup. And if you don't have the energy for the cleanup, then you don't have the energy for the play. And they have come in, including the daycare kids, have come in and they're like, oh, where are the blocks? And I was like, oh, I put those away because yesterday you all were too tired to clean them up. So I thought maybe you didn't want to play with them today. Right? I'll say to Lincoln, anything I pick up goes in the garbage. I'm feeling like purging today. Anything you don't want to pick up, that's fine. Pick up the things that you care about. Everything else can go in the garbage. And he has said to me, okay. And he walked around, he picked up a few things, and I threw everything else in the garbage. It's good for me. It's lighter for my house.
I was like, what? She really threw them away.
You just gotta, and there's the thing is, you have to come through on the threat, right?
Of course, because if you don't...
So I try not to make threats that I can't follow through on. So usually it's the basement, right? Because it's easy for me to just chuck things into the basement. But when he's like rude, again, when he's sort of pushing the boundary, like pushing the thing off the table while I'm saying, then okay, you don't need these toys. And I throw them in the garbage.
On that floor, picking up every single piece of food.
Right. So
until you're done, and then I'm going to give you a little wipey, and you're going to wipe it down, and you may even have to do the dishes. I don't care if you're 4.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm learning, and again, because of the daycare and the older child, I'm sort of being introduced and exposed to behaviors that I'm not prepared for yet because my own child hasn't reached there. And this thing that a friend of mine said years ago that I always remember is, don't judge people with kids older than yours because you haven't reached that stage yet. Or don't judge people who have more kids than you have because you don't know. You have 2 kids. That's a lot of kids. You don't know what it's like to run around with 4 kids. Just as someone who only has 1 doesn't know what it's like to run around with multiples. Or, yeah, your 3-year-old is mouthy, but you don't know anything about a 13-year-old. So don't get involved judging how, and it's funny when we're like, oh, kids are talking back all kinds of crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, especially with Lincoln, who's going to be ginormous. I don't know what I'm going to do if he says some shit to me. I know that he's going to know we're going to have a moment. I know he's going to know when he's hit a button, and I feel like he's going to take a step back. because I can't always. Because I see it now in his face. Sometimes he says something, and I look at him, and he takes a step, like
I
takes a
was like,
step
oh my
back.
God, I don't think that was cool.
Right. That's
Yeah.
so like. There's the button. Oh, there's the button. Got it. Let me stay away from that button. So I feel like that's what me and him in their teenage years. But then I don't know what's gonna happen with Emery. Like, God save all of us.
Well, I think you go through the growing pains with your first one, and then by the second one, you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
The
but
second one
usually
is a
the first one is the
breed.
one that ends up coming out like
The easier
the
one.
easier one.
Second child is a different breed.
So
So yeah, they're good, and James is good. I'm like working out every last minute that I can have from James because he's got school is starting, and once school starts, it's like a whole lot of like it's almost like we're all going to school, except I don't have to take any tests, which I'm fine with. But it's less of a like I can't complain, right? Like he's doing this thing, it's for him, but it's for all of us, and it means a little bit of sacrifice on all of our parts. So like I'm working myself up for that, but I'm like cranking out every last minute until school starts. So
hey, make it worthwhile.
A couple weeks left. We've kind of been chit-chatting the whole time, but what I wanted to do is it is still the beginning of the year.
That's
January
right.
is still a good time to be thinking about intentions because I've given up on resolutions because I always fail them. I always eat the Kit Kat. I've had like a lot of Kit Kats in the last 3 days.
I have my neighbor at work. She refills those things on purpose.
Oh my God, it's
just
so
for me.
rude.
And then when I'm like, oh my God, good, it's empty. I walk away to my desk the next day. She literally walks over and she goes,
There's more.
She shakes
there.
it. She goes like, I got you some Kit Kats.
Oh my God.
You
It's
are
like you couldn't
nasty.
put Three Musketeers in there that I would never eat, right?
Yeah, it's
You
like,
couldn't
no.
put Reese's Pieces that I would never
I
touch
love
with it.
Reese's.
Ugh.
And I love M&M's, so I keep M&M's
M&M's
at
are
my
a problem. M&M's are
So-
crack.
desk. So, but I keep a jar of M&M's on my desk for a reason, because our trainer, who had worked for the company 52 years, always had M&M's in her training room, and she had this jar. It was her jar. And she always had peanuts, and then she would switch them over to chocolate ones. And so we always had M&M's. And she went out on medical for like 6 months, and she came back. And then
If you say she died.
she gave us the notice that she was going to retire. And then she went out on medical again, and she never came back.
Oh
She
my
never got the
God.
opportunity to retire. So after 52 years, I was really shocked, because she has made such a profound impact on me and what I do for work. And she was a very smart, brilliant woman. I mean, the memory on her was just insane, of the things that she could remember from all of the changes the company's been through. I mean, she's been with the company
that's
52
awesome.
years. So I took that jar.
Oh my gosh.
And so on my desk, there's a little like wooden cabinet, small one, with
So it's like a monument to this lady.
yeah. And so I have her jar that I fill with M&Ms every week, and then a little sign that says, "A sweet treat from a sweet lady in memory of Susan Weiner." And so I keep that on my desk.
Oh my gosh.
And so people come in, and everybody
yeah.
takes M&Ms.
That's awesome.
And very rarely do they realize that there's a sign behind it. And then sometimes people will stop and be like, oh wow, this is awesome. I'm like, yeah, sure. Feel free to bring some M&Ms whenever you want,
Community jar.
But that's what I do. So
That's cool. But yeah, so we're talking about chocolate. I don't make resolutions anymore because I always break them.
No.
But I thought for instead, I could do a list of things that I'm sticking with for the year and a list of things that I'm letting go, because I think as important as the things are, as important as it is to have things that you're going to try new for the year to bring into your life, there are also definitely some things that you should let go of to make space, right? Like cull through yourself to make space.
You can't be a hoarder.
Yeah, especially in this case. So I want to start. I thought I could do like 10 or 5 or whatever, but I decided not to stick to a number. It's not a ton of them, but it's not even, is what I'm getting at. Because you just I'm trying to just be, right? And just do enough. And I heard a woman say the other day, good done something is better than a perfect not done nothing.
That's right. It's true.
That's not what she said, but that's how I remember it. Then not done nothing.
So so you have a list of things that you were
Yes,
going to
the things that I'm going to stick with this year.
What is your top one?
The show.
The show?
The show is my top one. We are on episode 40 today.
That's right.
Which represents 40 weeks. That's almost an entire year.
Yeah.
Our 1-year anniversary will be coming up soon in February. And I can't believe that we've gone a whole year doing it. And I'm so excited for the show that we've like curated over this past almost a year, and for all the things that are coming up, all the conversations I'm super excited to have in the coming year. So definitely number one thing I'm sticking with this year is the show.
Great. Now I have more work.
Yes. Thank
no,
you
but
very
I
much.
enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Good.
So I'm happy to hear that you are recommitting yourself to the show all over again.
Of course.
Not that you weren't any committed this year. I mean, you've been staying on top of your A game, and which is good, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing me in to the Digital Stream Radio family and showing me the ropes and like teaching me all about this podcast stuff, because I just have the voice and the like quirky ideas. I didn't know anything about how the stuff works. So thank you so much for teaching me about it this year.
My pleasure.
Okay, so that was number one. Number one is the show. Number two thing I'm sticking with. So I don't know if you know, but James has been really interested in a bunch of different things, and let's say this is like a 2A and 2B. I am gonna stick with supporting James and his quirky new ideas. He's been coming up with some cool, interesting. Some we just give up on because like it was a good idea, but we're not going to run with it. But then other things have been going pretty well and pretty cool. So number two, I'll say, is like sticking by my man and his cool ideas.
That's important.
And then number three is one of those things he introduced me to this year. Is called NeuroPeak, and it's kind of like I'm just going to say it's like a vitamin. I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm sure you will fix it.
I'm having a moment with my microphone.
Okay. A technical difficulty over there.
Yeah.
So, he has, I'm going to call it a vitamin. I'm sure there's some other fancy term for it, but it's basically like it's a brain pill that you take once a day. Actually, I think you can take it a couple days, but it's supposed to sort of like focus your mind to allow you to think your best thoughts and do your best like thinking and your best work. And
I'm trying to do this without making too much noise. My whole microphone literally just
fell down. It's okay. It's live. This is what we deal with.
That's what we do.
Do you need an extra hand?
I got it.
Oh, see, because you're the master. Oh my God. Always with you.
I know. I'm crazy like that. All right. So
okay.
I'm good. Okay.
Okay. So I was talking about NeuroPeak, which is it's like a brain drug, basically.
So it's almost like Ginsana, right?
I don't know what that is, but
Ginsana was like a memory helping thing. Like it would help you remember. And I'm like, dude, if you can remember to take that thing, then you don't need it.
Then it's like a placebo and it's fine.
Yeah.
And that's what this thing might be. It might just be a bunch of ginseng and chamomile and lavender, but I'm okay with that because the like side effect is that I feel better. Like even if it's a placebo, it feels like Nodos did. Except Nodos had a whole lot of caffeine in it. I'm sure this has caffeine in it. Nodos used to make you feel like jittery, like, oh, I'm going to write this paper right now, 1,000 words in 39 seconds. Like, that's what Nodos used to feel like.
I remember those.
In 1997, okay? But this doesn't feel like that. It just feels like, okay, I've got this list. Because before that, I'm like, oh, I have to do this. But before I do that, I have to do this. And oh, don't forget about this other thing that I said I was going to do, which I can't do until I do these other 3 things. And that's just how my brain works all the time. And this NeuroPeak helped me to consolidate all of that stuff and just start.
So it helps you focus.
It helps me focus.
Which is awesome.
Because often I can't start to do the work because I think about all the pre-work, right? And the pre-work gets all jumbled up in my brain and I get so overwhelmed that I just walk away from
It's
all
exhausting.
of it. It is exhausting. So I'm going to stick with this, that even though I thought it was like witchcraftery, witchery, it's even, and again, even if it is a placebo, it is a good working placebo. So I'm going to stick with Neuropeak, and we get ours from Amazon.com. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other, like there are other flavors of Neuropeak or of other, like this Ginsana thing you were talking about. But, it's worth trying. And I don't feel like, I mean, it's not like Ritalin, right? I don't need a prescription for it. And just because I didn't know about it before doesn't mean that science isn't amazing and getting better every day. So I'm into the brain drugs, and this one is called Neuropeak.
So Neuropeak for your brain, to give you a lot of power,
to give you focus.
And focus.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So what do you got next?
So the next is, I would like to use, I'm sticking with, so I went through this short phase of feeling like maybe I should get off social media, and I should stop being on Facebook, and I should stop looking at YouTube, I should stop wasting my life, especially since the update for like now all your phones and all your tablets will give you a notification of how much you've been on social media.
That's right.
And all of a sudden it's real. It's I bet it's kind of like when they started putting calories and shit on food in the 80s or whenever that happened.
Mine is bad.
Like you start to really, or when Obama started making credit card companies tell you exactly how long it was going to take you to pay off that bill, right? Like it's like when you see the numbers, you see the fucking numbers. I was starting to feel really bad. And then I thought, but I can't just give up. I can't give up social media. I'm doing a podcast, for goodness sake. I can't give it up, but I can try to make it a tool and a useful thing. Not that I just, go numb or try to like relax on social media, because I don't think that's really a thing. But that I use it as a tool for the show, for life, to keep in touch with people or whatever, and that I use it more intentionally. And that being said, with something like YouTube, which sometimes feels like it's not social media because it's not like a posting wall.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of foolishness on YouTube, and you can get caught up in comments, and you know what I mean? Like it's still social media.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned screen time. I just really wanted to quickly just give you an overview. So I have used my phone for 2 hours and 27 minutes per day in the last 20 days. That means that I have been on Facebook for 20 hours and 19 minutes. On YouTube for 5 hours and 53 minutes. I pick up my phone on average 71 times per day.
Oh my God.
Kid you not.
That's insane.
It really is.
I don't even know how to find all of that. Mine just gives a screen time thing, but because I have an Android, it's probably in there somewhere.
And I get about 103 notifications a day.
A day. That is insane. A friend of mine turned off all of her notifications, and I might try that. It's not on my list, but I might try that this year, to turn off more of the notifications, because really it's like Pavlov. Like as soon as I hear something,
Ding,
you're looking for it.
And for me, it's kind of hard, right? Because I have my phone that gives me notifications. My laptop will give me a notification. My other computer will
Alexa gives me notifications.
Yeah. So it's like, when you hear that ding proliferates through the house.
Right.
I even have light bulbs. Like, for example, my light bulbs in the hallway that go into the bathroom are programmed so that when it starts raining outside, they turn blue.
Oh, wow.
So I know it's raining when I wake up in the morning because my lights are blue in the hallway.
God. That's amazing.
So, there's a lot of really good, useful things that you can do with social media and with your devices. But you're right. I think that if you make a conscious effort to use the technology that we have in a smart way and in a way that brings you fulfillment, not necessarily wasting time,
right.
I think that
it's all adding value.
Exactly. So
So
that's awesome.
so I wanna work on my social media intake, and that's all of them. But I also want to use social media and particularly YouTube to like increase some learning. 'Cause I just feel like this year I'm not around a bunch of people anymore, which my number one way before of gaining information was just like the people that I was around. I worked with smart people. I always was outside with smart people, and now I don't have that anymore. So I have been, and James has been doing a lot of like watching experts talk about things on YouTube, and you can get them in great like bite-sized pieces that you can,
Assimilate.
yeah, that you can digest, or you can watch something longer, 30 minutes, an hour. It's amazing
That's why I
how
love TED
you're,
Talk.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because TED
But
Talk, there's so many different things that
so
you
many
can
things,
learn and
yeah. So we were
inspiration.
we were watching an interesting thing from Sean Stevenson, who was talking about this sleep and how sleep has a very big effect on weight loss. So you could be doing everything right in terms of eating and exercise, but if you're not sleeping properly and optimally, you're not going to have as much success as you could. Like you could be losing weight and blah blah blah, but you could be doing so much better if you were getting the right amount of sleep. And then other people talking about just how it's like your body is a concert of all of these different things, and you have to have it all working together and in order to have the most success. And for James, he's looking at like health and weight loss and stuff, and I'm learning some of that stuff. It's not my like focus and like extreme interest right now, but I am seeping some of the information because he's just got it playing all over the house.
And he looks great, by the way.
And he looks great.
He looks amazing.
And that's the other thing that he and I have been talking about a lot is like when you get excited about something new, until people see it in you, whatever that is, until people see that you've lost a bunch of weight, they are not going to believe you because everybody talks about like the thing they're going to do.
And it happens fast
and it
too
happens
for men,
fast.
right?
So
It-
that is the fucking rub, okay? Because I could do the same things that he's doing. He stops drinking soda, he loses 10 pounds. I stop drinking soda, I gain a pound. Like it doesn't feel fair. It doesn't
like,
feel fair.
It's almost like he went to the bathroom and took a Richard Simmons shit, right? It's like he sat on the toilet and immediately lost 20 pounds.
No, I think it's an interesting because I see him all day, every day, right? And I didn't see it until other people said it. But just the other day, I saw a photo of us when I was pregnant with Emery. It was like a family photo, and he said that someone said he looks so much younger now, and until we had those two pictures, like him standing next to this other picture, I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Like you really looked different. But I mean, his face is bright. I told you about the beard oil, I can't even say it. The beard oil. So he is like reflecting a little bit, but I think his skin looks better. Like whatever it is that he's doing is working. And I was like, now is the time that you can start telling people about it and they'll actually believe you. Because before that, it just sounds like foolery, just.
Well, no, and he looks he looks very slim in his face now. And
looks great.
He's doing all the right things.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, he looks great.
More power to him.
He's gonna be like, Candace, why are you talking about me so much? It's because you look great. And everybody sees. I am a little bit. I'm a little.
She's obsessed. She's your wife. She can do that.
I know. So,
right. So
anyway, so that was YouTube and using YouTube wisely. The other thing I'm definitely sticking with is Walmart grocery online pickup, or whatever it's called, because I didn't take the time to do the order, and I was like, oh, I'll just run into the store and buy the things. And I was so overwhelmed. I was like, why didn't I just place the order? I would be done so fast, so much better. I tell you, I cannot go back to grocery shopping in the store. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to be looking for stuff. I'm going to be packing the bags. It feels like a first world problem. It feels like an entitlement issue.
Well, no,
but I
but
really,
it's also
really love it.
When you think about what is the one main reason why stores want you to go into their store?
Yeah, I spent $50 more than I usually do.
Because you walk in there and your senses are immediately bombarded with bright stuff, right? They put all that good, bright, delicious, juicy, sugary stuff right in your face. And when you walk in, you're like, oh, I remember that tastes so good. Maybe I should grab a box,
right?
Or, in order to get to where you got to go, right? They do this on purpose.
Yes.
So
you gotta get through all the muffins before you get to
before you get to see a freaking tomato.
Right.
So, now when I go to supermarkets, I literally shop the whole rim.
Right, before you go in.
I stay away from the center aisles.
Oh, good for you.
So now it's like, if I'm going to go get chicken, I'm going through the vegetables and fruits and stuff.
To get there.
To get to the chicken, make my way to the dairy, and then bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's
if
so
you
real.
go to the middle...
Get lost. Yeah, Emery made me buy, and I'm saying this loosely, but Emery asked for some kicks, some like berry kicks today because Paw Patrol was on the front. I was like, we've never purchased this before, ever. But he wanted it because he's like, good look, Marshall.
Oh,
like, God.
But I used to love Trix as a kid. The cereal?
No. Kicks.
Kicks.
Trix has the rabbit. Kicks is the other one.
And I used to Kicks is the one that they give out with Wick, right?
Probably.
Yeah, it's like a yellow box with these little circles, and
but now they make berry flavored.
Oh.
So I agreed to it because it wasn't Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
So
no,
anyway,
I liked
small
Kicks.
wins.
Kicks was good. That and what's
I just ate a handful of it though. It tastes like trash. I don't know why the kids like it.
It's not as sugary as all the other cereals.
Yeah, right. It's not sugary, but it tastes like trash. It tastes like cardboard.
Oh.
But I'm not a child, so
don't eat it.
It's not my thing. Okay, so definitely using Walmart grocery online, and I am gonna say that I prefer it over Instacart because it's free. The service is free. Instacart, you have to pay a fee. So by the time you pay the fee and you tip your driver, it starts to add up.
It can add up.
So in a bind, if you really need Instacart or one of those other DoorDash or something like that, I would go with that. But I would do it.
Peapod is
Stop and Shop. Yeah, and I'm not getting involved with them. I don't like Stop and Shop. You go into Stop and Shop, I spent $36 the other day. I had like 7 items. It was absurd. I'm not happy about it. So I'm not going there.
Okay.
Moving on. I don't know why I feel so strongly against Stop and Shop, but I do. So moving on, I am sticking with my cleaning lady. She happens to be a lady, but I'm sticking with Susanna this year because really it brings me joy. It brings me joy, and every single dollar of it is absolutely worth it. So I'm sticking with my cleaning lady, and I'm not feeling guilty about it. I literally work so I can have a cleaning lady. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. The next thing I'm sticking with is Alexa and her alarms and routines and automation. We've gotten a couple more of the lights that are on Wi-Fi and whatnot. So I have them. I'm trying to set a tone for bedtime. The lights dim and some music comes on. I'm trying to set a tone because often James goes up with them to bed, and instead of turning down, he turns up, and it's like, Alexa, play Michael Jackson, and the overhead lights are on. They're like dancing and furniture is moving. I don't know what's going on, but then bedtime doesn't happen till 11. So yeah. I'm trying to set a stage and a vibe for bedtime with a little bit of automation and Alexa's help.
And I take advantage of that as well. Like, for example, you can't open your eyes and be in a super bright room, right? So I have this one lamp in my room. I mean, all of my lights are able, I can control them with my phone. But I set them up automatically so that my bed lamp actually starts rising like the sun.
Yes, we just got one of those.
So that's super cool. And then it dims to like a very orangey red, so that when I finally open my eyes, I'm not being burned.
Yeah,
right?
That's
and
really
so
nice.
For my bathroom, automatically at 5:30 in the morning, the lights come on and it's already set to a spa setting. So it's dimmed, it's very glowy, and you walk in, you handle your business, do what you got to do, and then you feel good.
Oh, right? That is true. Because when I flip on the lights in the bathroom, I feel accosted.
What? I feel like I have to run for the hills. So I really take advantage of stuff like that. And for example, if I'm away and I'm on my way home, as soon as I get within a mile of my house, my lights in the house start going on.
That's
the living
great.
room, the kitchen.
I was actually really defending the automation and some of these things last weekend with my aunt and my friend, actually Tia, about why like I use these things. And there's a little bit of fear that people have with like whoever's big brother is listening in, or AI, whatever. But some of the things are really super useful
Yeah.
if you're away for a few days and you can manage your lights. Like my neighbors across the street use a timer, like an actual tick 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 timer that turns on their light, turns it off,
All at the same time.
all at the same time. But if you can set Alexa or your light bulbs, whatever, to come on a couple times, like randomly, then your house actually looks like somebody might be in there while you're away. So I think that some of the security features,
You just have to remember to turn it off when you go on vacation and you leave someone in your house. Because I was, of course, here. My mom was here, and I went to work at night, and if I forget to turn off lights when I'm a mile away from the house, the lights shut off.
Oh.
So the only lights that stay on are my lights outside.
So your mom's in the dark.
So she literally like texts me. She goes like, "Oh my God, I think you lost power." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes like, "All your lights just turn off." I was like, "Ma, the TV's on. I didn't lose power. It just on. It does that automatically." And she goes, "Oh, okay. Well, can you turn them on?" I was like, "Ma, the button's right there."
Yeah,
like, literally, just
but
push
she
the button.
doesn't know.
Yeah, but it's cute.
But it is cool. I like it. And what I have noticed in the last couple of weeks probably is I need to look into my alarms and some of my things and fine tune them, because they were working really well. When the kids heard Alexa say it's time to get ready for bed, like they would just get up and go. But the timing got moved a little bit where we're eating a little bit later. And so the adults, me and James, are ignoring it because we're doing stuff. And so now they have started to ignore it. So now when she comes on, Emery goes, no, Alexa, bedtime. It's just.
Well, you got to remember too that, we live in an area of Earth in where time changes, and then darkness sort of kind of follows that time change. So, and now we're rapidly gaining daylight.
Yes.
Right? 30 seconds every day until at least, I believe, is February 15th, and then we move up to almost a minute.
Wow.
So we're constantly gaining daylight. So if you are getting them used to sort of kind of bedtime is at 8, but in the summertime is bright daylight outside.
Right.
And
I know.
It's like, it
weird. Is hard. So, it is hard. And part of your routine might change, or something changes in your routine. And I have been trying a lot after work to have some downtime, even though they're there and they've just ratcheted up because Lincoln has just got home. And I find that I'm taking more and more, which means I'm starting dinner later and later. And that's the sort of thing. So I just need to work on my own, like fine tuning of the schedule, and then pick a time and be committed to it. Because if I ignore it, then they ignore it. But when I follow it, they totally.
Consistency is one of the best ways to be able to get, results.
Right. And having Alexa, like, I recognize that it's hard for me to be consistent on my own. And so with Alexa's support, I'm getting much better.
That's awesome.
Okay, so moving on is a schedule of maintenance, including personal maintenance. Because
Explain.
I felt recently like I was not getting to do things for myself that I wanted to do. Some like little petty things like manicure, pedicure, or I needed a haircut and I felt like I wasn't making time to take care of myself or do things that I wanted to do. I told you that thing about how the car was so crazy dirty. My car was messy. I wasn't paying attention to that. Just like little things like that I have not been paying attention to. And then at the wrong time, usually at the wrong time, I put my foot in the ground, like I stomp and say, well, I'm going to do it today. And it's like not the optimal time, but I'm insistent that I'm going to go get a manicure anyway. You know what I mean? Like, and it's because I haven't allowed myself to sort of broadly schedule these things in, which would then give me a clear picture of when they need to happen or when they can happen. And then I do them at an inopportune time because I'm just like grasping. Like I haven't had a haircut in 6 months. So even if I don't get to do it every single month, I want to like put something on my calendar that at the end of the month I take the car to the car wash, or once a month at the beginning of the month, I go and get a manicure. I can't commit to I can't get a haircut every week. I can't get my hair fancy done every week, but I can say like once a quarter, I'm going to go get my hair done. You know what I mean? Something that I can actually commit to, because obviously every 2 weeks, I would love to get my hair done every 2 weeks. It's never going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
once in a blue moon, she walks up in here and, she's like, I was like, girl, your hair looks slamming.
See?
Yes.
But that's when you've like had it. And instead of going into a moment like that, which should be relaxing, should be like, okay, I'm going to go get a new haircut. I'm going to feel good, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I have to get this haircut because I never take care of myself. And that's not how I should feel going into this moment that's supposed to make me feel better.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sort of loosely basing that. I mean, the example is a haircut, but other things fall into that. If you want to get a massage, every week is not possible, but once a quarter, once every 6 months. And I think that sometimes when I think about things that systematically, it feels like there's no room for spontaneity, but I'm learning in the last several months that if I do have a plan, it actually makes it easier for me to move things around, right? Because
and make it more spontaneous, because you could still have planned event and still have it feel spontaneous if you're, playing your cards right.
Right. Or if you miss it 1 month, it's okay because it's coming around again. Or whatever the thing, if you miss it, it's okay because it's going to come around again. You don't have to feel like a huge loss because, I didn't get to do it that time. So, like, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to temper what I'm noticing about my own emotions in some situations that just feel like a all or nothing. And I don't want to feel like that in 2019.
And making time for yourself also makes it less likely that you will think of it as a chore.
Right.
Right? As something that you have to do because, like you said, I'm up to like the last possible moment and where I can't stand it anymore, as opposed to this is for me, so good.
And then is the second to last. The thing that I'm sticking with in 2019 is intermittent fasting. Have you heard? Like, it's all the rage right now, this fasting and different kinds of fasting. And it's funny because I just asked James the other day, I was like, what's the difference between intermittent fasting and anorexia? And I know that might trigger some people and it might come off insensitive, but I don't mean it to be, because literally you're not eating. And I think what we settled on after watching a few things is like anorexia comes when like you're already at a decent weight and you still want to lose more weight, and it has a lot of more like psychological and body dysmorphia and all of that stuff.
When you don't think that you're skinny enough.
Right, exactly.
And then purging comes along with that.
Right,
So
bulimia and that sort of thing. But sort of in a crass way, I was like, what do you mean just don't eat? Like, people are telling people all the time you have to eat. And people put them in inpatient if people don't eat. So, but it has been an interesting exercise to try. What I have been trying is the 16-8 fasting, which is 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating. And again, James does it and he loses a bunch of weight very fast. I do it. I'm just creeping along like half an ounce every other day. But what I have realized is even at the very baseline, if I don't eat, so what I'm doing is like from 8 o'clock at night until 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And if I don't eat in the morning between, 7 when I wake up and 12 o'clock, that means I haven't eaten any bacon. I haven't eaten any like greasy sausage any like, and just off the top, like off jump, I've reduced a whole bunch of calories that I normally intake with like greasy croissants and all of the things that are my usual go-to.
My doctor keeps telling me, dude, you're gaining a little weight. You getting up there. He's nice about it now because one time he called me fat. I was like, oh no, this is going to end right now. This is not going to be cute. You've got a lot of weapons up in this room. You're going to get cut. But he don't call me fat anymore. He's like, you're gaining a little bit of weight and, you're going to start having issues with cholesterol.
Right.
And you really need to lay off these types of food. He said bacon. I almost lost it.
I know.
I was like, you are wrong. I was like, listen, I'll take any medication you got. I will give up anything else except my bacon. You can't take my bacon away.
So what I'm finding with the intermittent fasting is that you don't have to take the things away, right? That I said that as an example of stuff that I'm not eating. But if you wanted to eat bacon during your open hours of eating, then that's fine because you didn't eat bacon in the morning and in the afternoon.
But
Maybe you only made time for bacon in the
afternoon. You're not eating like every hour of those 8 hours. You're just simply having your meals.
Yeah, you're just condensing all of your meals to that time frame. And sometimes I find if I had an extra piece of cake at 9:00 because I was feeling peckish, then I'll go to 1:00 the next day. And I will tell you, as someone who insists that I can't function without food, and I get very hangry in a vet. Like James will say to me, Candace, have you eaten? Are you feeling hungry? Like, just relax. I thought absolutely I could not do it. How can I wake up and not eat? And the first few days were pretty hard. And I have found over the last several weeks that I get closer and closer to 12 without even knowing that I haven't eaten yet. And it might just be like a brain, I'm just conditioned to come downstairs in the morning and have a cup of coffee. And it gets a spoonful of sugar and it gets a dollop of milk.
So you don't even have coffee in the morning?
No, I do have my coffee because I can't manage. I can't figure out how to get rid of that yet. But what I'm saying is about the eating, right? Like I'm just conditioned to come down in the morning, have a coffee, put something else, like eat something else. And then at other times in the night, I'm not really hungry, but I'm conditioned. Oh, I'm going to sit down with a hot cup of something and a something to eat. Whatever that something is.
And I do this on Saturdays anyway. When I'm home, I barely eat, right? I forget that I need to actually nourish myself. So like Friday night, I'm done. I've eaten like around maybe 8 p.m. or something like that. And then I wake up in the morning and I'm on cup of coffee number 5 and it's 5:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, I haven't eaten anything.
It's true. So it's possible. What that says is that it's possible.
Yeah.
And
just don't take my bacon.
I'm not taking anybody's bacon.
Because we're going to be fighting.
I'm not taking anybody's bacon, and I'm not telling anybody to do it yet. Because again, I don't know if it's actually working, but even if it's a placebo effect, I feel a little bit better. And because of the kind of work that I do, I don't have a ton of time. I don't make a ton of time to sit down and have a big breakfast or any time for myself in the morning. So I really don't get to eat until after the kids have lunch anyway. And that just means I've sort of extended the fast a little bit. And there's just some cool science. I don't know the science and I won't get into the telomeres and all of the things that they talk about in the science. But what I have taken from it in the last couple of weeks is like, just fucking close your mouth. Like, stop eating. Like, just, because literally when most of the times that I'm eating something, it's not good food because I'm hungry. It's peckish because I'm bored. I don't know how I get bored, or I'm frustrated, or I saw this really cool post the other day that said, instead of binge eating, why don't you binge read, or binge like talk to a friend, or binge hug, or binge laundry, or binge
Don't
cook.
come at me with that binge hug. Not happening.
But it's like there's so many other things that you could be binging on if you take a second, or if you have a list, right? Like when I feel like eating ice cream, here's some other things I can do instead. I don't know, but the whole like health and body stuff, especially as I get older, is really hard. And I'm a woman and it's like harder for us. It's something that's constantly going to be on my list every year. I'm going to be better. And I'm just trying to be.
Well, I mean, at least you're trying and you're not like committing with like a resolution.
Yeah. It's just an intention. And then the last thing that I'm sticking with in 2019 that I'm just going to like stick with, and that is being pro-Black. And I realized that the other day I felt like I had to explain it because I was telling somebody, did I tell you about the guy that I found? Wade, I can't remember his name now, but it's a new country artist, a new country singer, and he's half Black and half white. And I told you when I listened to him and he sounds really country, and then I saw him and I thought he was Puerto Rican. Did I tell you about this?
No.
And so I just had this moment of like fucking cognitive dissonance where I was like, I hear the sound, but I can't function with your face. Right? It's like meeting a Chinese Jamaican or like a white Jamaican. And you're like, I can't figure it out, or a white South African. And so I was telling some friends this story, and I was like playing his music and saying that I wasn't sure that I liked his music, but then when I found out he was half Black, I was like, oh, I have to listen to it and like learn about him. And one of my friends says, oh, so you only like him because you're only listening to him because he's Black? And I was like, yes. She's like, well, we have to listen to things because they're good, and we have like do things. And, you know, it was sort of extending to like do things because they're good, or like patronize people because they're good, not just because they're the same as you. And it was like, yeah, but we got to start somewhere.
And you also have to help the community, right? It's like
that needs help, right? And so this guy, and it's bigger than this guy, but this guy is half black, half white, and he's a country artist, and he's doing really well. Like he's doing super, super well. If I could remember his name, I will say it in a second. But he's doing super well. But I don't think I just feel like I don't have to feel like there aren't very many people of color in country music, or black people in country music. And there have been in the past, but just not, there aren't that many. And so, especially when new ones are coming, like if I'm not going to listen to them, if people who look like them are not going to listen to them, how are they going to get any airtime? How are they going to get, any space? They just can't. I think his name is Kane Brown. And so I'm just gonna do it. And in the moment, I felt like when she said, "Oh, you're listening to him just because he's black," I felt like I should feel bad for a second, and then I was like, "No. I don't feel bad. I'm gonna give him a chance because he's black, and I hope that he's good. And even if he's not good, I'm probably gonna click on his videos a little bit just to give him the chance to get good, right? But I am not going to shy away from being pro-black, from being pro-black and talking about black excellence and talking about Black Lives Matter. And I'm not even like the most like advocate-y of the advocates. Like I'm not even the loudest person or like doing as much as I should be, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Because,
but you remember, was it you that was saying, that
necessary.
When someone, takes up the fight and they go out there and fight, they don't have to be fighting 24/7, right? Because you can take a step back and allow other people to do that as well.
Yeah.
And so whether your voice is this loud or this loud, it still has the same impact.
Yeah.
Right. And you are obviously fighting for recognition in the fact that whether you're a light black person or a dark black person, regardless of where you fall in that spectrum,
you're still black.
You're still black, and you still need the support of your community to get ahead, because you have to fight that much more than anyone else. And so the fact that, you want to be pro-black and support your community, there is nothing wrong with that. Us Latinos do it all the time. We support Latino businesses when we want to, and our cultures and stuff like that. So there's nothing wrong with that.
I know, and it's
never be ashamed of it.
I know, and it's only, I feel like this idea that you should be ashamed or you shouldn't be supporting people just cause is only on us, is only on black people and people of color, because nobody else is made to feel that. It feels like no other community is made to feel that way. If you're Jewish and you're supporting Jewish things or whatever, if you live in a Jewish community and it's only Jewish people, like nobody is in here trying to like diversify Jewish communities. Like, oh, that's their community. And
that's what they do.
That's what they do, right? As long as they're not keeping you from buying a house, then you're fine.
I also think that white America has a problem with coming to terms with what they did to the black community, right?
Yeah.
And so anytime that someone of color speaks up and says, oh, well, my ancestors or XYZ, immediately the defense comes up and be like, but we're not there anymore.
Right. And I didn't do that.
You don't have to be there, but you have to recognize that it happened.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why we're this vocal, so that we can remind you, if you should ever think that it's okay for you to go there.
Right.
No,
it's not.
You're going to have to reel that shit back, and we're going to have a come to Jesus talk, and and you're going to learn something very quick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so other cultures technically don't have to do that.
They don't have to defend. They don't have to
who
defend
they are. And so, being pro-black.
Or why they support each other.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I definitely agree that that's a good one.
So that was my thing I was sticking with. And then my short thing of things that I'm letting go, maybe it could be longer, but is fear, like just blanket fear. I don't know if the podcast will work. I don't know if like whatever little things that creep into my mind, I'm just going to be like, oh, I can try anything for a day. right? I can try anything for a week. I can try anything for a certain amount of time. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Doesn't
You
mean
won't
I'm
know if you don't try.
right. You don't know, and it doesn't mean I'm a failure. It means I tried a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to let go of fear this year. I'm uninstalling Uber Eats from my phone because
I think I'm going to join you there. It's way too expensive for that
it's
shit.
so expensive.
It's like, I got to get my fat ass in the car and go grab something.
Yes,
come
make
home
it
and
hard
cook
for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, then you just make something in your kitchen. So
you know how many times I've ordered from Five Guys?
Mm.
Oh, them burgers are the bomb.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've never even thought to do that.
Oh,
So
it's the best.
no, I don't want to do it. So I'm uninstalling Uber Eats and any other sort of fast delivery. I'm not giving up groceries, but any other kind of fast delivery. I only just downloaded Uber itself, but I used it a lot in one weekend. So I might also uninstall Uber. We'll see. And then there's a long list of subscriptions that I have that like, I had one time the cleaning lady came and she forgot her paper towel and she asked me for paper towel and I didn't have any. And I felt like, oh my God, what kind of mom am I? I don't have paper towel in my house. So I went and got a subscription for paper towel from Amazon. And now I'm drowning in fucking paper towel because we don't use paper towels that often. So that was a long story about paper towel, but it's more that I have, in some cases, been too quick to take up these subscriptions and these automations. So I'm getting stuff sent to me more frequently than I need them, and more frequently and more regularly than I need them. But I'm locked in with these subscriptions, and I'm doing exactly what they expect me to do, is not do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so I'm drowning in paper towels and toilet paper at my house, and I'm also dishing out money monthly that I don't need to because I've already got so much. So I'm going to go into my Amazon account and delete some of those subscriptions. And I'm letting go of The Grove, which is the house cleaning subscription. Have you ever heard of The Grove?
No.
So it's just one of these subscriptions where every month you get like some, cleaning spray, floor cleaner, wipes, dishwasher packs, like whatever kind of house cleaning stuff.
You can order it during from your grocery list.
Yes, now I know that. Okay, listen. Okay, I was super excited about automation.
I wasn't coming at you. I'm just to the listeners. Yes. You don't need it. I'm sorry.
Well, this is what I'm saying is that I got super excited about automation, and I was just like, yes, automate everything, and it was too much. It was too much. So I'm letting go of The Grove.
That's too funny.
And then also in the purchasing department is that I'm letting go of buying things for a task or a DIY or a like, we should do this thing, right? Buying all of the tools for them without actually setting a plan for when I'm going to do the stuff. So I have a lot of like, we need to put some sort of sealant on our stairs, and I have gloves and sandpaper and blah, blah, blah. I think I've had it for 6 months, right? And it's in a little bag somewhere on a counter for this like task that I think I'm going to do that I'm probably never going to do, or other things that I buy in advance, like a whole bunch of frames because I was going to make a collage wall on the wall. I'm never fucking going to do it. So I'm not, if I don't have a plan for when I'm actually going to do it, I am not going to buy the tools and the
like me and my tiles
things that we needed. Yeah. Well, it's like that. Like if you had, like, do you have a stack of tiles?
There's a stack of tiles over there. They're sitting there. And I really haven't just had not that I don't have the time. Actually, sort of kind of don't have the time. But when I do have the time, I'm binging on movies upstairs rather than taking care of this and getting it done.
Yeah, it's so true.
And now I'm thinking about destroying my kitchen and pulling cabinets off. And
you haven't finished this thing yet.
And I haven't even finished this one simple task. You slide the tiles in.
Yeah.
Like literally. But I want to destroy a wall, recalibrate my stairs, push a wall back, add more cabinets, make them all white, put an island, new floors. It's like, Jesus Christ. When am I going to have the time?
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that I'm trying, and the what I'm saying is like I would be excited about the kitchen and then like go out and buy tiles for the kitchen floor. So premature, right? Like you're just not there yet. So I'm going to stop doing that because it gives me anxiety to see the thing, right? The
And
little
nothing.
toolkit. I see it. It's taking up space somewhere that it shouldn't be. It's causing me anxiety. It's making me feel bad that I haven't made time to do it. And all of that could be avoided if I just leave the shit at the store.
Truth. I mean, it's always going to be there. You're always going to be able to go to the store and pick up what you need when you're ready to do it.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then the last thing I've been thinking about is that I'm letting go of in 2019 is asking for permission, but disguised as help. So sometimes I find that I'm not sure if I should, if I can, if I should, if I would, if it would work, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, oh, well, what do you think about this? Could you help me think about this thing that I'm not sure about? But it's kind of like feeling like I can't do it, but I could do it if this person said, oh, girl, you got it. Like, oh, you know how to do that thing. And finding a way to find that in myself, right? Like that I might not know how to do this, but
we can start practicing tonight.
What?
Right? Because every time we close the show, it's like we start writing notes and stuff. She's like, what am I going to name this episode?
I know.
I'm going to turn around and be like,
no, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
You got this, girl. What do you think? What do you think?
You can't hijack my thing. No. That's not where I was going with that. But just in general,
that's what I understood.
I know. That's because you're a man and you hear what you want to hear. That's not what I said.
That's true.
But I just find that sometimes instead of doing the hard work, especially when you don't know how to do something, it's so much easier to like have someone show you how to do it. Right. And I just feel like there's a line between help me figure this out or like show me how to do this part that I don't know how to do, but doing the work to get to that part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that sometimes I find I'm afraid or that I don't have what I need. And I realize that I have everything I need. Right. You have all kinds of ways to research things. And then when you get to a roadblock, then you ask for help.
It's like, for example, these tiles, right? So the reason
these tiles. It's relevant to all of life.
The reason why, those particular tiles in the corner these aren't filled in is because you got to do your edges first, right? And then fill in the middle. And so I was scared to cut the tiles because I didn't know how and I had never done it before. So I started doing these and they sort of kind of came out okay. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I'm like, okay, now I can do this. So it was like, initially I wanted a friend to come over and teach me how to do it. And I was like, screw this. I'm just going to watch videos, find a video, do it. And then I started doing it and sort of kind of like, okay, I lost my fear, but it's like, now it's just like, I just want to go upstairs and watch TV and this is still staring at me. And then what if I need to run new wires? Then I got to take all these tiles off and, and so now I'm thinking about, here's the other thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about actually running Cat 6 cables all over the house for internet, to have internet connection down here, internet connection by the TV, because a lot of people don't realize that although Wi-Fi is amazing, the more devices you add to your Wi-Fi, the slower it gets. So I want to hardwire like my Apple TVs and like my computers so that the internet, the Wi-Fi can actually have some room to breathe.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We got some sort of mesh situation to help with that Wi-Fi thing. But again, the more light bulbs, the more automation you have, the
35.
more. Yeah, that's crazy.
Counting.
Yeah, so that was my list of things that I'm sticking with and things that I'm letting go of in 2019.
Yeah, and if you guys have any ideas or you have any list of your own,
put them on the Facebook page.
Yeah, go to Breezy Moms Podcast on Facebook. Let us know what your ideas are, and then we can sort of kind of
we'll collect them.
Yeah,
because I'm a firm believer now. They used to think, if you don't do it in January, then you got to wait till the next one.
No.
Like you learn something new, you can figure it out halfway through the year. You can do a reset or whatever your timing is. So I will post something. And then if you have things that you're sticking with or you're letting go of, please share it with the crew. I was going to do a Mom So Hard tip, which was tied to my story about the sick day.
It's very simple.
Yeah, I might as well say it. So, the whole things I'm going to stick with are all my tips for the year, but, also specifically for this week is to take a sick day, like an actual sick day as best you can when you can, because I took the sick day today, but then I filled it in with a bunch of to-dos and tasks and things instead of just laying my butt on the couch. And I realized that I was doing the most when I insisted on moving the blueberries from the package that they came into a little colander and like rinsing them all off so that they would be ready later for anybody who wanted to eat them. And I dropped the entire thing all over the floor.
Oh, wow.
Like I just don't know what happened. Just literally, I washed them off and I put them on the counter. And then I went to pick it up and the entire colander fell on the floor. Every single blueberry. I was standing just confused.
Oh my God, you remember that video? Blueberries, and she just falls.
Oh, I mean, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory?
No, I have to show you the video when we get off the air.
Oh my God. But yeah, I just realized halfway through the day, as I was dragging the grocery bags into the house and I was huffing, I was like, I feel like I'm having an asthma attack. Like,
well, you
just
overexerted yourself. You didn't rest.
You didn't rest.
And that's important.
It's so hard as a parent or as a person, I think anybody, when the idea that you would just sit on the couch and veg as a way to recover and ignore a bunch of stuff that you have to do. And I know that everything feels like it has to be done. It has to be done. There's so few things that
I can't tell you how many times I say
have
to myself,
to be done in that moment.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah. So as long as you feed your kids, and in some cases you just like open the box and then they can feed themselves, like it's just one day.
Yep.
You are doing the most every other day. You can take one day to like.
It's important because it also gives you the energy that you need not only to recover but to push forward
for the next day
with whatever you have going.
Yeah. So take the time. One of my clients said, like, I think you should take a day if you need it, because if you have if you get sick chronically, it's so much worse for me. So it's actually selfish. He said it's purely selfish. I want you to get better because I can't take a week off of work, right? Like,
well, it's and that's another thing. Your sick day,
right?
Could impact
other
someone
people.
else's schedule.
Yeah.
So
which makes it hard to.
So when you do take it, make sure you take advantage of it.
That's true. That's a good point.
So
all right. So anyway, we have kind of gone on as much more than I thought we.
You made it through, girl.
But we made it through. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you have a fantastic 2019 set up for you. It's going to be a great year. We'll be here every week on digitalstreamradio.com.
That's right.
And on Facebook, you can find us. Please share the show. I'm trying to grow the show, the listeners this year. So if you can, please share the show and come back every week to listen. Bye. This show is produced by Tom Ortiz at Digital Stream Radio. It's available for download on Podbean. Follow us at Facebook at Breezy Moms Podcast or email us at breezymomspodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, don't stress, just breathe.